Okay, hi everyone. So this week on Founders 15, we have a lovely team from Emigreat. As always, I'm going to let you introduce yourselves. So handing over to you.
Perfect. My name is Saya. I'm originally from Japan, but I'm Japanese and American, and I moved to Sweden in 2019, where I met Anali, who will introduce herself.
So my name is Ana Lee. I'm originally from Dominican Republic. I moved to Sweden in 2015 to do a master's in Chalmers.
And basically, Anali and I connected because we moved to Sweden at different times and for different reasons, but we both had problems with our immigration processes. And so we connected over the idea that there's a knowledge gap between governments that create immigration policies and the people that it actually impacts. And that's how we created Emigreat together.
Amazing. And so for those now curious about what it is that you do to support them and to help them, what does it look like? What's the process with Emigreat?
So Emigreat, we've kind of gone through different variations, but to basically get to the root of the problem, we started working as relocation consultants in 2021. So we've been working with companies and with individuals with work permit applications and relocation processes. And through that, we've developed a software that acts as a risk management tool for companies to manage their international employees' legal compliance. So not only ensuring that the applications themselves are correct, but that legal compliance and the different requirements that the companies and the individuals are required to meet can actually be met throughout the duration of somebody's employment.
Amazing. And so is this at the moment something that is focused? You said you're both in Sweden. Is that where Emigreat is based?
Yes, so we are based in Gothenburg in Sweden. And so we've started working specifically with the Swedish immigration system and those processes, but we do plan on expanding internationally as well.
Okay, and so I mean, I work with startups all the time, and I see that actually just being able to move country or to kind of be what we used to call the digital nomads, but also these companies that huge companies that really want to benefit from people coming into the country and into their workplace. This is a problem that I'm definitely seeing across all continents. So I guess when you start to expand, what other offerings are there that are out there? And I guess what is it that you do that stands out from those?
I think that what we have to see Emigrate is as a digital infrastructure itself. And basically, it will support the companies who want to relocate the employees, not only coming to where they are, but also sending them some other places. So I think that we are making the tools so they can feel confident that they can manage all of this in-house, and then they can decide what to offset or offboard from their hands towards other service providers.
Okay, and so then with that, with those other service providers, is that something that you connect? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're building a marketplace of service providers in kind of different areas of the relocation process, from recruitment through leadership training for HR to kind of help them understand how to build a diverse workforce, to housing, and trying to create a kind of a one-stop shop platform to help with the end-to-end life cycle of an employee's relocation.
Okay. So you guys are both trying to change something that is a sort of an endemic. It's very like built into the society of Sweden, but also into the foundation of lots of countries around the world. And this is not an easy problem to solve. So can you share any of the struggles that you've had along the way in developing this and bringing it to where it is right now?
I think that basically because, as you said, it's something that is very embedded, but it's also like it's connected directly with society and with the government itself. I think that it's not as easy to go to all the VCs, and that's something that we have like understood now through this. Like in the last years, not all the VCs are interested in RegTech, like regulatory regulatory tech. Is something that some people are afraid of because they do not completely understand it. Also, like people believe, or there are beliefs that this is not like, there are people believe this is not such a big problem, but a lot of the people that come with this thought process are people who have no experience themselves. So they are people who might not have never gone through a visa process or a permit process to go to a place. So I think that understanding like who we match with in the busy world, but also like who are our first adopters and so on, like it has been very interesting. At the same time, for example, like what we have realized is that maybe for us are more like long-term investors, like private equity or like family offices, because they have a more long-term perspective. Like this is something we are trying to change the way that paperwork or bureaucracy works. So it's something that there has to be a little bit of like faith and patience with it as well.
Yeah,
I don't know if Masaya, you want to talk about
yeah.
another aspect of it.
No, I think I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I think ultimately one of the struggles that we always have when regards to fundraising was always the question of scalability. As well as, you know, changing immigration laws. How does it impact the company when governments are becoming more conservative or becoming, you know, harder on immigration, and how does that sort of thing impact? So I think that there's a lot of insecurity around how everything works, which has made it harder to fundraise, I guess, to go the traditional route that startups generally take when they're fundraising.
So both of you have shared sort of issues with gaining that trust, both at sort of the governmental level and then Annalie, you were saying at the investment side. What have you been able to do that you found so far to increase that trust or to try
I
to
think that we decided to do two timelines.
yeah.
There is a timeline connected to if we get connections with the government or if we're able like to connect somehow. There's another timeline where we actually decide to do alternatives, right? So an alternative, for example, right now is that we're selling our processes. The company can do it themselves, right? With the guidance of the software. The software is the expert that tells them what to do, how to do it, when to do it. But the final part of connecting it to the government either will be an auditor or it could be the same company who does it. And then if they pay for the auditor, there's an additional cost. So that's kind of like how we have kind of like move around the difficulties, because now at the moment there is something that is like it's a person that has to have the it's a little bit technical, but it's like the power of attorney, right? To be able like to submit an application, like one person in charge, and that's like the same kind of struggles that autonomous driving cars has. You know, like you still need to have a person driving. It's the law. So it's kind of like how do we make automations or progress in digitalization for immigration, like one step forward until we are able to like make everything seamless.
So it's having that human connection is building that trust and it's helping bring that change.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We're doing
I
like a
think
step forward.
Yeah, and I think also we've been quite lucky is for us, you know, using marketing to update people kind of for free on legislative updates and working with different companies as their relocation service provider also allows for word of mouth. There's a lot of word of mouth kind of in this industry. And that has helped gain trust because it's increased our name as specialists. And we're very fortunate to be in a position where we have these kind of ad hoc consultation services that help support our reputation as a software company that can also be used to bootstrap the company as well. So we're kind of fortunate that we found a way to support the company while we build the software, and it's a way that can also help strengthen our reputation as experts in this field.
And whilst you've been supporting those companies and building it, what have been the learnings from those different companies along the way?
I mean, I think one of the biggest learnings that we've ended up finding is that even if you go to a group of customers and you have customers that all fall within your ideal customer profile, everybody just has these minute different things that they want that are different from the other companies. And it's very much a push and pull of trying to especially provide features for your early believers and do things that will have them continue to be a customer, while also you can't offer everything. So it's about, like, I think the most difficult thing that you learn is about the boundaries of when do you start adding new features? When do you actually acquiesce to the desires of the customer? Because all customers, no matter what, want something slightly different as well.
Sorry,
And I
Emily.
think that no, I agree with that, and I think that that's also like understanding what is your value proposition and which customers can like we get value that, because for example for us everybody wants the infrastructure, right, and then to make everything seamless, but we are a startup, so we have to start step by step towards where do we want to, how do we going to build this, so we have to offer what we already have towards this type of customers, versus when we develop more, we can have letters of intent from other customers that when we get there, they're going to be onboarded and so on. So it's managing all this as a startup to be able like to bootstrap and at the same time like learn from your customers and earn money from your customers is just like a balancing act.
Yeah, you're creating something for many different people at the same time. And so okay, I think some people might be watching this thinking if this is focused on Sweden and you're trying to speak to these different companies and find the different problems, then what's the kind of the through line, I guess, for Emigrate? And so there is a consistent set of problems. I know this from meeting you previously that companies are facing, and I guess for those of us outside of Sweden, how big of a problem actually is this? What's the market here?
Um, it's quite a big market at this point in time. I mean, globally, there's over almost 200 million people that are living abroad for work. The EU alone is facing a labor shortage of over 40 million people within by 2030 due to population decline and the aging population as well. So the EU as a whole requires just massive I don't want to use the word imports, but they required like just massive relocation of non-EU citizens in order to actually be able to support the EU economy. Or within the next 10, 20 years, the EU economy itself is just not going to be a global powerhouse anymore.
Right.
So it's a massive problem across all countries.
So that really shows the sort of expanding need that there's going to be for Emigrate over the coming years. And it's
Yes.
really exciting to hear how the developments that you've gone on over that time. And I guess with us speaking to other startups, watching this podcast as well, we talked a little bit about some of the learning, some of the difficulties that you've had along the way, but what advice would you give to startups who are just starting out? If it's their first time, what advice could you give them?
I think one thing that we've always had the discussion about is to find one thing and do that one thing very well and not try to be everything for everybody, because you're going to get so much advice on what to be and what to offer. But it's better to start very, very niche and just be that one thing for one very small group of people, get better at it, and then expand from there.
I completely agree.
Did you want to add anything? Sorry, Annalie.
No, I completely agree. I gotta be like retweet. I don't know if anybody does that anymore.
It's like with all of the what we've just been talking about for the last 5 minutes of trying to meet different companies' needs and your customers and listening to them all. That's a tough thing to stick to that idea and to still learn from them, but still stay strong about what you're doing. And I think the new startups, young startups coming into this, it's very easy to get pulled and pushed and to kind of take the advice of mentors. And I think we all want to be able to say, you know what you're going for in the first place. So take the advice, but we don't have to take it all. So I from you both, thank you. I think that's really, really strong advice. And I guess with the final few seconds that we have, anybody in Sweden or outside of Sweden, how do we find you? How do we learn more about Emigrate?
So you can visit our website, emigreat.io. emigreat.io. And we're also quite active on LinkedIn as well with different updates for HR as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, I gotta say, I've seen some amazing things on your LinkedIn. Thank you
Thank
both
you.
so much.